Thank you all for joining us today for this talk on all things Microsoft Compliance Ecosystem. My name is Hamad Rajub. I'm a Director of Product Marketing for Compliance Ecosystem.
And I'm Yaron Hezroni, Principal Program Manager for Teams Ecosystem.
Nick Robinson here. I am Principal Program Manager for Compliance and eDiscovery.
Hi, I'm Anne Rahim, and I'm a Program Manager in Microsoft 365 Compliance.
Let's start with why. We know that 91% of enterprise customers have multi-cloud strategy. Our customers are looking to reason over their entire multi-cloud data landscape and not just the Microsoft data. Our customers want and need to be able to integrate Microsoft compliance value, including information protection and governance, insider risk management, discover and respond, as well as compliance management within their existing security, compliance, and identity-related investments. That's why we're building compliance platform to be extensible and solving for our customers' multi-cloud reality. To that end, we see extensibility as a horizontal capability, and you all developers as a key enabler of this across all compliance pillars. Now let's talk about the key investment areas those translate into. To enable extensibility and compliance beyond Microsoft, our investments are spread across three key dimensions. Number one, multi-cloud data access. To enable our customers to reason over their entire data landscape, including Microsoft and non-Microsoft systems, we've extended our data connector platform by enabling ready-to-use, partner-built connectors for a variety of external sources such as Slack, Zoom, WhatsApp, Bloomberg Chat, etc. For in-place compliance value, spanning across both structured and unstructured data, we have Azure Purview. This covers multiple cloud data sources such as AWS S3 buckets, Oracle, and SAP, to name a few. Additionally, and more excitingly, we have a Microsoft Graph connectors that enable indexing of third-party multi-cloud data so it can become searchable from within your M365 apps and the broader Microsoft ecosystem. Today, we are excited to announce new Graph connector-related capabilities, and Anne will walk you through those shortly. Number two, APIs and SDK for integration. To enable system-level integrations, as well as enabling compliance in the flow of work, we're doubling down on our investments in APIs. We have a number of Microsoft Graph APIs. We also have Microsoft Information Protection, or MIP SDK as we call it. And of course, we are constantly growing this space. Number three, built-in customizations. To meet the unique needs of our customers, we are also investing in built-in customizations. We are enabling built-in Power Automate templates that, amongst other things, allow customers to extend compliance to workflows into third-party SaaS apps such as ServiceNow. With that, I would like to pass it over to Yaron.
Thank you, Hamad. I'm excited to be here today to talk about Teams Graph APIs for chat and channel messages. These APIs enable compliance solutions by providing premium access to Teams messages. Let's start by talking about Graph APIs for Teams DLP applications. When we sat down to design APIs for the DLP use case, it was important to provide developers with the ability to access and evaluate chat messages near real-time and at scale. We also wanted to enable a consistent user experience when a message needs to be blocked based on the DLP policy. To achieve that, we enabled two APIs that make DLP application work. Teams Change Notifications API to consume Teams messages through a webhook subscription, and Teams DLP Patch API to block a team message when it's violating a DLP policy. Before we cover the API details, I would like to call out a few of our partners who take advantage of these APIs today. Compliance ISVs like McAfee and Netscope heavily depend on these APIs in their CASB solutions to evaluate and protect customers' data for Teams DLP. Gaggle and SensoCloud EDU partners are using these exact same APIs to monitor student chat in Teams to protect children from cyberbullying at school and beyond. You can develop these types of solutions in 3 easy steps. Step 1. Create a subscription to gain near real-time access to messages. The Microsoft Graph Change Notification API is a push notification service. Once you subscribe to team messages and complete the tenant admin consent authorization that is required, all messages sent in Teams will also arrive to your callback URL as change notifications. Change notification for Teams messages include the resources data itself. No need for additional API calls to read messages. Because customers' data is shared with your service outside of Teams, we also require the data to be encrypted with a certificate to secure the data in transit. Team subscription will expire after 1 hour, so you'll need to renew your subscription in time to maintain continuous access to messages. Step 2. Now that your service is listening to encrypt messages, you would need to validate the messages coming from Microsoft Graph Publisher Service and decrypt the message so you can process the data in your application. Step 3, if your service determines that the message needs to be blocked, Patch Message API can be used to remove messages from the recipient view and notify the sender about the violation. You will need to create separate subscription to listen for both channels and chat messages. For channel messages, you will subscribe to Teams Get All Messages, and for chat messages, you'll subscribe to Chats Get All Messages. You can also subscribe to a specific channel or chat thread using the dedicated resources IDs as shown. This can be useful when your app needs to listen to a single channel or thread. You can also specify the types of change notification your app wants to listen to. Created for new messages, updated for messages edits, and deleted to get notified for deleted messages. Let's take a look at a sample subscription and its payload. To create a subscription, use the PostGraph subscriptions endpoint. Resources is used to specify the resource you want to subscribe for. Change type to specify what type of notification your app wants to listen to. Notification URL is your callback URL where you will receive the notifications from the Graph Publisher service. Make sure to set include resources data to true to get the message data in the notification itself. Provide encryption certificate, certified ID, and client state details to encrypt data in transit. Lifecycle notification URL can also be used as a separate endpoint to listen for subscription lifecycle events, such as when a subscription has been removed or when a change notification cannot be delivered to your app. Subscription will expire in 1 hour. To maintain service continuity, we recommend renewing subscription every 45 minutes to account for any network lags. Finally, use the Patch Subscriptions ID endpoint to renew your subscription before it expires. As a rule of thumb, a subscription is only good while it's active. We recommend separating your subscription renewal service from your main application service so you can keep renewing subscriptions even if your main service is down. Graph Publisher Service will attempt to send notification up to 4 hours in case your main service is unable to respond. Great! Your application is now receiving Teams messages, and you can read all chat and channel messages. Notification will show you for created and updated message types. If you subscribe to deleted change notification, make a note that the body of the message will show empty, because the message is, well, deleted. Reactions to messages will show as an update notification with the reaction data included. A message notification will include sender information, message text and @mentions, cards, attachments, and any other OSIT content that may be included in the message. Lastly, I'm delighted to announce control messages, a new feature of the API. Control messages are system event messages that will also show as notification. For example, chat members join and leave events and chat title updates. In this sample, the message notifications will first appear with encryption. After validating and decrypting the message, you will be able to read the full message schema, here showing Hello World message from Megan Bowen. Now that you've gained access to team messages, you will be receiving them in near real time for your service to process. Your service can evaluate messages for any use case, but for the DLP use case, we are also giving you the ability to patch or block a message natively in Teams UX. Here is how it can be done. You will use the Patch Message API for the specific message resource that you want to block, added with the policy violation payload as shown. In this case, we are patching a channel message using full resource data for its Teams channel message IDs. You can specify a DLP action to block access and/or notify the sender of the violating message. Vertic details options can be leveraged to allow users to provide false positive override of the DLP action with or without justification to your admin. There are a couple of customization fields you can use to pass policy tips information to educate end users on why a message is being blocked. Switching gears, let's talk about Graph APIs for Teams export for compliance, archiving, and similar application. Graph APIs for Teams export allows for bulk access channel and chat messages. A single export API endpoint to get all channel messages for a specific team, and a single export API endpoint to get all chat messages for a specific user. This allows for scale, flexibility, and coverage for your application. Application permissions with bulk access to team messages is useful in supporting third-party compliance archiving solutions, as well as for gathering a snapshot of Teams data needed for backup and recovery solutions. For these scenarios, we designed the API to interface with the user's mailbox. This allows for your app to get full access to team messages at their rest location, including coverage for federated chat and deleted messages. The message schema for Export API is exactly the same as the one we reviewed for Change Notifications API, giving you access to all message details. Also unique to this API is the ability to provide date-time filters and view messages in pages. For example, you can get all of your run's messages from the last 24 hours arranged in pages of 50 messages per call. Here is a quick view into the API structure and chat payload response. To export users' messages, you would use the user ID with the chat get all messages endpoint. And to export channel messages, you would use the team ID with channel get all messages endpoint. The last code sample shows a channel export call with top pages and date range filters. Graph APIs for Teams export are only enabled with application permissions. You will need to request tenant admin consent for channel messages that read all and chat read all to get access. We also increase the throttling limits of these APIs to allow for bulk access of data to most of the supported scenarios. I'm looking forward to see what you will bring to market with these powerful Team Graph APIs. Next, let's hear it from Nick about Graph APIs for advanced e-discovery.
Excellent. Thanks, Yaron. It's great to be here. I'm really excited to share some of the updates we have recently released around advanced e-discovery extensibility. We've been hearing from customers about the importance of e-discovery and compliance built into the communications and collaboration systems they're using, and how enabling automation and integration via APIs is very important to enable durable and repeatable processes. Today, we want to take a few minutes to highlight the value that advanced e-discovery is providing for customers, what we're doing to enable APIs and extensibility, and how you can get started now. Let's jump in. So as we dive into the APIs and how this will work, I want to take just a few moments to level set on what advanced e-discovery is and why customers are adopting it rapidly as they do more in the Microsoft cloud. As enterprise adoption of Microsoft 365 continues to grow, customers are telling us, hey, we're all in with the Microsoft cloud. We want to keep our data within the security and compliance boundary and use the native built-in applications to help meet our security and compliance requirements. So with advanced e-discovery, organizations have the opportunity to quickly respond to investigations or litigation with efficient access to collect and discover communications and collaboration content from the source. Quickly assess and get estimates for the size and the scope of your investigation, narrow and target to get to just the right, most relevant content to help your investigation, and find out who knew what when in your organization. In addition, advanced e-discovery helps organizations manage e-discovery related workflows like legal hold notifications and review. And finally, with rich data analytics, redaction, and smart tagging to help you minimize and reduce the amount of content required for the case. Think of email thread reduction, deduplication, theme-based analytics, and more to help organizations get to the most relevant content for that case. This minimization helps reduce the cost and risk of downstream e-discovery activities. Speaking of automation and enabling predictable process with integrations, we're excited to share an update on the advanced e-discovery graph APIs to help organizations further harness the native tool sets to enable automated processes. Is your organization doing the same few things all the time? Would you like to take some of the guesswork out of that process for your users? With the APIs, you can establish automated, repeatable processes and integration to existing or homegrown systems. One of the key scenarios we hear from customers is to automate integration with other apps they're already using in their environment. In this case, we hear customers have a matter management system to kick off a case and to establish all the parameters for that case so that it's all ready to go. When we look across the common workflow of e-discovery, each of these circles represents a particular step in the process, and each can now be engaged via API. So for organizations with extremely standardized processes or a very high volume of cases, this can really help improve the effectiveness of the workflow. Not only does automation integration help when you're trying to get a lot done, but we know many customers have detailed processes that need to be followed as they go through discovery, analytics, and review to enable predictable, repeatable processes is a big win to help reduce that level of risk around manual implementation that this could introduce. Really exciting to see this fundamental value light up for customers and partners. It'll be great to see what projects will go from ideas to reality. But that's not all. We are really excited to share a bit more about what's coming next for Microsoft 365 Connected Apps and how app providers can get apps into users' hands in a secure and compliant way with Microsoft 365 right out of the box. Over to you, Anne, to share a bit more about what's been cooking in the Microsoft kitchen.
Thanks so much, Nick. It's a pleasure to be here. We're so excited to announce enabling compliance for enterprise Graph Connector apps. Let's dive into the vision for this new release of features. The new vision for this project: enable compliance for apps integrating into the Microsoft 365 ecosystem to empower our users with a seamless, compliant experience. We hope that through easily enabling compliance for our apps, we can unlock access to enterprise customers, create a more integrated user experience, and also ensure we're keeping your data compliant. To solve this, we're excited to announce a new feature release. Introducing built-in compliance for enterprise graph data ingested through Microsoft Graph Connectors. Utilizing Graph Connectors is a powerful way to surface your app data across the Microsoft 365 ecosystem, participating in compliance, enterprise search, and intelligent discovery experiences across Office, Teams, and more. These are not multiple integrations, but one to power multiple experiences. With this single integration, app partners can have their content show up in the same way that Microsoft 365 content would show up across these experiences. Cool, right? One of the great benefits of ingesting your content into Graph Connectors is easily lighting up Microsoft compliance in order to protect your app data. With one ingestion into the graph, you'll be able to manage and take control of your data in various ways. The first product that we are excited to announce and offer to all customers who ingest their apps through the Graph Connectors is Advanced eDiscovery. Enterprise customers often require advanced eDiscovery capabilities for anything from litigation, internal investigations, insider threats, data spillage, and more. All of these can trigger the need for a legal investigation to know who knew what, when. In these cases, advanced eDiscovery ensures you can collect and review your app data when you need it most. Let's walk through the advanced eDiscovery workflow. When an organization responds to a legal investigation, the workflow around identifying, preserving, and collecting potentially relevant content is based on the people in the organization. They are called custodians of relevant data if they're involved in the case. For example, the custodian of an email message could be the owner of the mailbox that contains the relevant messages. Additionally, there may be content locating in mailbox and sites that aren't associated with a custodian, but that are relevant to a case. Content locations where case custodians don't have administrative control, but may be owners of relevant data, are known as non-custodial data sources. Graph ingested data from app partners are part of the non-custodial data sources category. Moving on now to the collections experience. The collection workflow poses significant technical challenges around extracting content from native locations and sources. Collections and advanced eDiscovery helps eDiscovery case managers quickly scope a search for content across emails, documents, and now app content in Microsoft 365. After the collection is defined, eDiscovery case managers can save the collection as a draft and get estimates, including estimates for data volume, the content locations that contain the results, and the number of hits for search query conditions. These insights can help to inform if the collection should be revised to narrow or expand the scope before moving on to review and analyze stages of eDiscovery's workflow. When the manager is satisfied with the scope of the collection and the estimated content, the manager can commit the content to a review set. Now, let's explore the review set section of the workflow. Here, Advanced eDiscovery provides a number of tools to analyze the documents, to review the volume of documents, and to help you organize them in a coherent manner for your case. Some of these capabilities include near duplicate detection, email threading, and themes in the analytics section of Advanced eDiscovery. We're also excited to announce and offer adaptive card support in Advanced eDiscovery, a simple JSON format to represent your app data clearly and aesthetically in the review panel. Finally, when a legal admin is finished, they're able to export the content that is relevant for their case to present an investigation or further next steps. Now, we'll move into a demo of two of our newly ingested Microsoft 365 connected apps ingested through Microsoft Graph connectors. To help make this real, we developed two real-world example scenarios to illustrate this new capability. Introducing eCareVault, one of our app partners. First, let's walk through a demo for them. They're a safe and secure care coordination software used by schools to coordinate healthcare for their students. Here, we can see that schools can submit referrals to refer their students to external healthcare providers. These referrals must be acted on in a certain time period in order for students to receive care in a timely manner. In this investigation, we would like to see all of the referrals made by this school to any external healthcare provider for all of their students. Great. Now, let's go to the demo.
Welcome to the Advanced eDiscovery console. Here on the Cases page, you can see all existing cases tied to a particular user. Each case has an opportunity to walk through the entire Advanced eDiscovery workflow, from identifying a data source, collecting it, and then reviewing it. Each case can be modified and scoped to your needs. For example, you can choose to search all student referrals, or you might choose to scope to a particular user or patient. In this case, we're interested in learning more about all student referrals, so let's navigate there now. From the Overview page, we're interested in adding eCareVault as a data source, so let's navigate to the Data Sources tab. Here we can see instances of safe spaces, which is eCareVault App Partner data. Great. If we wanted to add any more as data sources, simply add data locations and navigate over to Microsoft 365 connected apps to add in any more app partner data ingested through Microsoft Graph. Now, let's navigate to the Collections experience. Here, we can see lots of helpful information about a collection. For example, we can see the number of extracted files, the data source ID, and search statistics like items, hits, and volume. This is really helpful for an admin, especially if navigating a large amount of data. You can choose, after seeing this preview of estimates, to further refine your collection through adding different conditions like author or date range. Let's explore that now. Simply navigate over to creating a new collection. Enter a name. Here, if you had any custodial data sources, you could add them in. We're interested in navigating all eCareVault data, so let's add them as non-custodial data sources. If you had any additional locations like Exchange and SharePoint Online, this is where you'd add them. Here is where you can further define your collection conditions. For example, let's say you're only interested in content with a particular keyword, in a date range, or by a certain sender or author. Add those conditions here to further scope your collection. Now, we have the option to save your collection as a draft, meaning you'd see all of the helpful preview of estimates of number of items as well as your data volume. Or you can add those collections to a review set right here. Simply enter a review set name. Also, we're excited to offer additional collection settings. For example, you can collect contextual Teams and Yammer messages around your search results. That means that you can see messages sent around the same time your search results happened. That's awesome. It helps you get a more clear understanding of what happened during the time that those referrals were sent. Or you could collect cloud attachments from items found in your search results. Again, helping you to get a better understanding of what was happening. Great. Now we can review our collection and create it. We've already created one, so let's dive into the review set from that collection. Here, we can see the review set for eCare Vault's data. Awesome. On the left, we see line items with the referrals. And on the right, we can see an adaptive card rendering of the content. There's so much functionality in the review set. You can tag items, annotate them, download, look at the metadata or redact confidential information, and also filter and query by content. For example, you can perform a keyword search, explore the analytics, and soon to come new predictive coding, and query and filter by ID and item property. Let's explore that. Let's say you are only interested in referrals made by a certain author. And here you can see all of the authors and their linked amount of items. Once we've selected one, we can see all of the items related to that author and the referral on the right. Once a legal admin has reviewed, labeled, and filtered through all of this content, they can keep what's relevant and export it to use in their legal case or in any further next steps.
Let's go through another real-world scenario highlighting another app partner, Adobe Sign. Adobe Sign allows you to easily send documents with certified delivery and sign directly within Microsoft Teams. Adobe Sign is available within Teams as an app partner ingested through Microsoft Graph. In this scenario, we're exploring using Teams and Adobe Sign to help empower clinical trials. Here, a doctor is explaining a potential vaccine trial to a patient who's considering participating in a clinical trial. Once they've reached a consensus, the patient can sign a patient consent form to participate in the clinical trial right in Teams. When required, a compliance admin could use the Microsoft 365 Compliance Portal as a single pane of a glass view to manage Microsoft 365 data sources and our partner data sources like Adobe Sign. Here in the review set, we can see our Adobe Sign content showing up along with conversations in Exchange and Teams, as well as files from OneDrive and SharePoint Online. So, how can you get started with enabling compliance for your app data to expand your enterprise customer base and easily discover your app data in the case of a legal investigation? These compliance capabilities should be available in the next few months. First, build a graph connector. When you build a graph connector, we encourage developers to add as many labels as are applicable to their data source, including the relevant security and compliance labels to light up advanced e-discovery. Then, build a rich preview of your app content using adaptive cards. We're so excited to see your app data be ingested in graph connectors and to offer you this new service of advanced e-discovery.
Wow, that is awesome, man. What an exciting set of capabilities, and even more importantly, what an exciting time for writing apps on top of compliance platform. To summarize, we showed you the breadth-first look at our compliance ecosystem and extensibility. Yaron and Nick shared information on Microsoft Graph APIs, and then Anne, which is last but not the least, shared our innovative approach to building Microsoft 365 connected apps and enabling built-in advanced e-discovery capabilities. To learn more, Here are some links for your reference. We can't wait to see what you build next. Thank you.